What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the CCS. We're here for week 4 matchup between Theory of Everything and Elysium. I'm Chains, joined by the one and only Elsa the Queen. Elsa, how you feeling about today's week 4 matchup?
Feeling very pumped up, right, Chains? Happy to be back here with you for another week. Happy to be watching Theory of Everything again. We had them on the stream already earlier this season. They become a little bit of a fan favorite. Since then, just with Brankles really trying to tear them down, then they built themselves up. They're riding high off of a victory, and now this week we've got a cross-conference sort of matchup here. Theory of Everything and Elysium. Not vying for the same playoff spots, but still obviously in the same league. And so it's fun to see some of that cross-conference action coming in here.
Yep, absolutely. Theory of Everything picking up their first win of the season last week in 2-0 fashion over Final Boss. And that game was off stream, but a lot of people were talking about it on the CC zone and just around the league. So able to get their first wins here, or that first win of the season, and we are into the draft. TOE is going to be on the blue side, Elysium on the red side for this one. And anything you're looking for in this draft specifically?
Yeah, I mean, definitely looking for what we see here from the solo laners of Theory of Everything. Earlier, if you check out in the Discord, I believe today we released a video interview with JP DeBoss, the top laner of Theory of Everything, and he really spent a lot of time talking about how much his mid laner Odysseus has been rocking it lately, totally taking control of that series that they had against Final Boss that you mentioned before. I think that the last time that we saw them on the stream didn't see quite as much of that from Odysseus. So I'm excited to see them, try to turn it around, see what kind of, picks they can put in their hands.
Yeah, and I remember seeing I remember Odysseus piling the Annie in that game a couple weeks ago, and
Oh
that was
yeah.
an interesting one. Annie's cool. When I was playing competitive, I was on Annie duty every once in a while, but so that champion has a special place with me. But this first stage of the bans is running quickly here. TOE banning out the Sen of the Rise and the Thresh. Elysium opting for the Seraphine, the Smolder, and a Mumu.
Yeah, I mean, I always love to see Smolder out of the game, get that champ out of the game. It's really annoying to watch. So happy to see that one. We've seen a lot of like early pick jungle, I think, overall in this league. When you're on the blue side trying to secure some of those power picks. We've also seen a lot of early Seraphine and Ashe. Seraphine taken away, but Ashe gonna be hovered, but they won't pick that one. Varus has a little bit of life left here before this next patch when he gets kind of gutted. So you might as well take advantage of it if you're Theory of Everything.
Yeah, and this Varus pick can go. It's a flex pick as well, right? It can go into the top lane as well as the bottom lane. So
Hell yeah, dude.
a
I
little bit of
was I was
flex.
terrorizing Silver Elo with Varus top just
There we go.
today. So very familiar with how annoying it can be in the flexibility. Sivir, though, a champion that has also been pretty popular in this league so far on the stream. Not something that you see nearly as much in solo queue, but when you have the coordination to play around it, definitely can be a lot more of an influential champion. So we will see that one coming out here from Chaser. And then we talked about kind of that early jungle priority. Doesn't end up happening on the blue side, but Jarvan coming in for the red side, obviously always going to be super powerful against the Varus, who's immobile. So we'll see what they want to pair along with that. The Sejuani coming in, it makes me wonder if they want to go for a melee mid laner potentially. I know they talked about Theory of Everything. Odysseus doing really well, specifically on the Silas last week. So that could be something that went really well alongside this Sejuani. Overall, it does probably indicate to me that Varus is probably going to be the AD carry pick. You never know. Lots of room for flexibility. Just always love to see those additional melee champions alongside Sejuani. So there's one of them.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't we see Theory of Everything play the Sejuani and Galio in week
Oh
2?
yeah, I think that sounds familiar. Yeah,
It
definitely could be
sounds
an
like what I'm
option.
remembering. And we also saw JP DeBoss running the Scion as well here. JP DeBoss loves to play those tank champions. Scion is one of those that he is very comfortable on. So that's kind of going to, like you alluded to earlier, show that this Varus is probably going into that bottom lane. We got no pick for the red 3, and that's going to be Rumble, we're being
Okay.
told.
All right, not going to be banned. That's what they're going to pick. All right, Rumble is an interesting one. I guess that's something that they probably felt comfortable picking into the top lane because I don't think that Scion is going to be going anywhere else. So I guess that makes sense. I mean, before the Rumble pick came in, I was going to say that both of these teams are really setting up for kind of classic front to back compositions. Rumble does throw a little bit of a wrench in that. I mean, he can still definitely be a part of a composition like that, but they'll still need probably, you would like to see a little bit more front line probably alongside the Jarvan, since Rumble is not going to be that frontliner for you. So we'll see what they want to pair alongside that. Maybe they'll pick up some kind of tank support or something to go alongside the Jarvan. But yeah, bans coming through. Predictably, we're going to see these solo lane bans. York being hovered as a ban, I don't expect to go through because of the fact that they already probably picked their top laner, but they just want to really make sure that there's not some kind of swapperoonie happening here and get Rumble into some horror matchup, which I suppose makes sense. And yeah, a couple of mid laners, a name mid laners taken away. So yeah.
Akali and Ari off the board there. And I'm looking at the Rumble into Scion matchup. At least in Diamond, it's about a 52% win rate in favor of Rumble. So a little bit of an edge towards that counter pick there. With this red 4 pick coming up here, we'll see what Elysium wants to go for. And it's going to be Orianna for that mid lane. So potentially saving counter pick for the support here.
Yeah. That's, not something you see super often, but I mean, given that we haven't seen a support pick yet, they just felt comfortable going with that Orianna. I mean, Orianna Jarvan is obviously a super classic combo. There's not really any terrible matchups for Orianna. Through the years, she's always just sort of remained because of that. And yeah, I mean, it looks like maybe Tom Kench being locked in. We assume that that's going to go to the support position. Tom Kench and Varus together, and then the mid laner probably going to come last here. But yeah, I mean, they've got a really tanky composition so far here from Theory of Everything, but not the most damage. They are missing a mid laner. But you talked about Galio earlier. I feel like Galio is not going to probably be what they're looking for to round this out. They're going to need something that's probably got a little bit more range.
Big
Yeah, an
mage.
ability to carry.
There it
Okay.
is. Okay. Aurora is the blue 5 pick for Theory of Everything in that mid lane. So yeah, very tanky on this side here. Elysium, they have more damage on their team here, but they're not, they don't have much max health damage or anything like that. So the Sivir is gonna have to build the last Lord Dominic's Regard. We're gonna have to get some armor pen. And Rakan is going to be the last pick coming in for Elysium in that support role. Rakan, I personally like Rakan. I think he's a pretty good champ if piloted correctly. Um, but yeah, I mean, this front to back composition for Theory of Everything is going to be pretty hard to break through.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for Elysium here, I mean, again, even with picking that Aurora, it's all about those two big carries from their side. And so I like the Rakan just because it is something else that is really good at kind of snaking its way into the back line, diving in alongside the Jarvan and being able to follow up with him. Jarvan definitely, as we said before, needed some kind of dive buddy to go into this composition. So they have that now. I think for me, because the Sivir is pretty short range, it's going to be all about Naysayer being able to land those Orianna ultimates onto the priority carries. I mean, ideally you get both of them, but you have to at least get one of them every single time with that with the ultimate from Orianna. So they've got the tools as far as the people to bring that ball into the backline, but it's going to be about those setups. I think early on in this fight, how can they take them down? I mean, and then the Rumble is also always sort of the wild card as well, right? Like when you can land a good equalizer, it could just totally zero out the health bars of their carries and or just totally zone them away from the fight. So those are the two things that I've been really looking at you know, from this.
We are back. Um, I just wanted to mention one more thing here as we get into this client draft. Sivir is one of those 80 carries who can scale very, very hard once she gets her full build. And the bouncing blades coming through from her W is going to be huge, especially in this game where she has a lot of frontliners to hit. So that the bounces are going to be dealing a lot of damage here, and could even find some extra damage on the backliners for Theory of Everything. So something to keep in mind there as we get into you know as we get onto the rift for this game here. um
Yeah.
and yeah, I think this will be a good one. I mean, we got a best of three coming our way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thinking a little bit about the stakes of this game, you mentioned that last week Theory of Everything got their first win. This would put them at 2-2. Meanwhile, for Elysium, kind of the other side of the coin, they're sitting at 2-1. And so, they really want to be able to pick this one up, to continue building their lead over the winless teams in their group. So far, Elysium's 2 wins have come against I believe it's Gojo's Jim and Skyloft Spire, who are two of the teams that have not managed to win a match so far. And so, like, for me, this is just a little bit of more of a challenge of Elysium, and it allows them to define themselves. Are they just more of a middle of the pack team who's just good enough to beat some of the worst teams in the league, or are they kind of on that next level and they're a contender? So that's what I'm excited to see here.
Indeed, only time will tell here as we are getting through this pick and ban phase here. Before we throw it to a break, I do want to give a quick announcement here. We are continuing our CCS revival replay runs with everyone. We got some tech that will allow us to watch and download replays even after client patches. All we need from you is to upload all the raw files of your match into Apollo replays in the CCS Discord. Be sure to include all game replays and team sides per game. Main goal of this is to have your matches on the CCS YouTube so we have access to everything and the potential to watch all of the matches week over week instead of just the streamed matches. And who knows, maybe they'll even get casted over. So, think your game is a banger? Upload it to Apollo Replays now. We are going to take a short break for the competitive integrity spectator delay, but we'll be on the Rift shortly for game number 1 between Theory of Everything and Elysium. Don't go anywhere. are on to the Rift for game number 1 between Theory of Everything and Elysium. On the blue side, Theory of Everything, JP DeBoss on Sign in the top lane, Caxi on Sejuani in the jungle, Odysseus on Aurora in the mid lane, and Mobe and Daigen rounded it out in the bottom lane here on the Varus and the Kench. Early ward coming in, but nothing too crazy.
And on the other side, we got Elysium, Viva in the top lane on the Rumble, Duddy Brains on the Jarvan in the jungle, uh, Kiba Boy on the Oriana in the mid lane. We got Chaser on the Sivir, and we got Ahop on the Rakan.
So far, pretty standard start here. Both of these junglers on the top side of the map. JP DeBoss and Viva going for a little trade, just seeing what's up with each other. But for the time being, you do look for that Jarvan early gank, especially he's one of those champions that can gank and likes to gank level 2. We'll see if Duddy wants to go for anything there. But they do know TOE does know he started on the top side.
Yeah, and one thing that we didn't have information about during the draft that I think is worth noting is that Kiba Boy is a substitute here for Elysium, so they're missing their normal number 1 mid laner. So that's just something to look at, when we kind of look at the synergy as the game goes on and the team communication. I mean, Oriana is a pretty stock and standard sort of mid lane champion in general. But, again, we talked about how important it was going to be, those Oriana ultimates. And so it'll be interesting to see if that has any effect on their communication throughout this game. But so far, both junglers do look like they're pretty much going for a full clear. No super early gank here from the Jarvan. As we flip through these lanes, you're seeing some decent trading happening. Kiba Boy in particular getting pretty low early on in this one, so might have to look out for this Sejuani eventually. But for now, she's just clearing things out. We saw a really early recall there also from the bot lane of Elysium. I guess I didn't see if it was that they pushed out and just really wanted to get back for Cull, or they were forced back. I assume based on the CS, they chose to back.
Yeah, it was a force. They shoved the wave, got the cheater in. So Cull on the board here for Chaser. Both of these junglers now on the bottom side of the map. And with that early base, Ahop is going to be able to pick up that pink ward and deny some of the Theory of Everything vision. But I think everyone still knows that these junglers are in this bottom side here. But the crab priority going over so far to Elysium.
Yeah. And as we take a look at this top lane here, what I remember from JP DeBoss, the last time that we streamed them is this is a top laner who's not afraid to fight. Definitely super aggressive all throughout the game. So that's something that we will take a look at here. It's a matchup that we talked about generally being good for the Rumble. I feel like Rumble isn't really that much of a laning champion in general, as he's able to just walk out this gank from Caxi, or attempted gank, I guess. So he really just wants to get through the lane and then, be what he is in team fights, which is super impactful, especially with his ultimate. So I think that has to be the goal here from Viva, probably, is just get through this lane unscathed. So far, he's doing just that. Pretty much even CS here, about 4 minutes in.
Yeah, and we do have to mention that this Scion, JP DeBoss does like to be on the side lane split pushing, especially on a champion that's so efficient on it like Scion is. So Viva is probably going to have to in the later stages of this game match this Scion in the side lane. And Rumble is a champion that's able to do it pretty easily. Can clear the wave and push out the wave with relative ease. So another thing to just keep an eye on as we get further on in this game here.
Yep, they're whacking each other. And in the bot lane, I just gotta say that Pack Sivir is just one of the coolest skins in the game, man. Like most of the old skins suck, but Pack Sivir is forever.
It's clean. It's clean for sure. Mobe took a base of his own there, able to pick up that scout slingshot. I swear that item does nothing. Oh, wait a minute. Keeper Boy's gonna go for the shockwave. Odysseus just jumping out, no problems. But a little bit scary there. As the knockup's going to land onto Mobe as the bot lane are fighting. Daigen's going to dive deep, but not going to find anything. And
nice.
Mobe's going to get the worst of that one here. But Keeper Boy looking for damage under the tower. Not enough though. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Fight in. Equalizer in this top lane. JP the Boss should just be able to walk this one out though. Viva looking for it still. Ghost is going to be popped by JP. Viva does have the flash, but not going to use. Oh, there we go. Will use
Oh,
it. As a flame spinner's burning him. The
oh
tower
my God.
dispels any further aggression. And JP the Boss is alive for now. Viva burning the flash.
Yeah, you could notice that when he wasn't, when he didn't have any of the overheat stacks at all, his Q all of a sudden did like basically no damage.
Ooh.
Oh,
Dragon might be in trouble here as Caxie's in the area. 3v3 in this bottom side as the Dragon goes over already to Elysium.
oh,
Flag and drag as Dunny Brains is going to flash forward. The stun lands. The knockup hits two. And Dunny Brains is low. One more honor should be enough and will go down. Caxie picks up first blood and we are still fighting this top lane. Huge knockup from JP. One more honor should be enough. And JP finds the solo kill. Dragon, oh my gosh. One auto finally tracks him down from downtown and just kills all over the map.
yeah, we got a lot of action going on here all over the map. Like you said, top lane, JB to boss. I mean, just as we were talking about how, Rumble should be pretty safe and just is able to kind of chill in this lane. JP to boss showing him why that is not the case. He got the level 6 late. Obviously, it looks like he used that one in order to get on top of Viva. And yeah, I mean, from there, it's nice for that sign, I guess, to get the early kill. It's always a question of how much he'll actually be able to do with it, I guess. But yeah, I mean, and then in the bot lane, lots of action there. So
Early spell shield from Chaser. Let's see if TOE can capitalize on this. I don't think they can. No level 6 on Varus, so no way to lock down that Sivir.
yeah, I mean, and it was a really nice play in the bot lane initially there that we saw for TOE, just having the patience from Daigen to stick in there when they picked up the first kill on Duddy Brains. But okay, no
look at
need
the ultimates connecting onto Kiba Boy. Kiba Boy finds a 2-man shockwave on the return. Duddy Brains coming in with the flag and drag. Cataclysm is going to find Caxie, but Caxie is pretty tanky now. Going to find one stun up here as we'll see if the damage is there. Kiba Boy has the damage and Caxie will go down.
Yeah, it looks like a good gank to begin with, but it doesn't, they're not able to net the kill. And then the backup just arriving really well timed there from AHOP, as well as Duddy Brains making it in to the lane. So both mid laners still stay alive. They're able to keep farming out, but now both of the junglers have fallen once here in their attempts to assist their lanes. Of course, the one dragon did earlier go down to the side of Elysium, so they have a little bit of a lead in that regard. But as far as the gold, we are dead even here, 8 minutes into the game. I mean, I guess go ahead.
This Orianna is, silently getting pretty strong here. Now 2-0, working towards that Blackfire. And, this Orianna, like you mentioned it in the champion select, gonna want to find, the ball is gonna be so important in these late game team fights for this Ori. So we're gonna see how Kiba Boy, works into this mid game here. See if they can keep that lead for themselves.
Yeah, so far, I mean, it's been on point. I mean, landed multiple, multi-man shockwave early on there during that gank earlier. So we just want to see that continue on from Kiba Boy. Still really close game here for now. And I mean, let's see. We got the next dragon coming up in a minute and a half. We'll see if teams are able to contest for that. I would say that that's probably our next chance for a team fight to happen here. Although you can see Duddy Brains has worked his way into this bush. I don't think that they know he's there. So we'll see how far up they want to walk. They do have the Tom Kench ultimate available though.
Whoa.
So theoretically.
Whoa! Look what I found. JP in the mid lane. Part of the flash out of Kiba Boy. Are they going to go any further? Shockwave's going to find JP, but I think they can't go further under this tower here. It's just, I mean, I respect the effort. JP trying to find something mid.
Yeah, I mean, and you mentioned this, right, Chains, but he does a really nice job of making use of his time as much as possible. Just at recalled, able to use that ultimate to go up the mid lane, burn the enemy mid laner's flash, and then able to walk back up top without losing much of anything. So that definitely feels good. Duddy Brains has used a lot of time at this point here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're. I mean, again, maybe they'll walk out
Oh,
here.
here we go.
Taxi.
Oh, he
Oh,
goes in, flashing out, gonna get devoured, still alive. Lives at 1 HP there. Wow, just on a knife's edge for the TLA
yeah.
bot
I mean,
lane.
it's huge to get those summoner spells, but it is the reason that it was going to always be really difficult for that to net for that gank to net a kill because Tom Kench ultimate is a thing. And I mean, honestly, if they were playing it a little bit cleaner, he probably should have been standing closer to the Varus. That way, would have been able to eat him out of the Cataclysm. But just flashing away, I mean, any additional damage would have totally taken him down. And yeah, that was something.
That was something indeed here. Dragon has spawned. So we are going to get a lot of people down in this bottom lane. Top laners have TP for both of them here. And we'll see. It is a mountain dragon, the second one of the game. First one was infernal. We got top laners scrapping here. JP the boss getting burned down. Gonna have to burn that ghost.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to begin with. I guess we haven't really talked about it, but the Scion picking up the ghost as opposed to the flash, there, it worked out well for him. Lower cooldown a little bit. So it'll be back up before flash was. And I guess Scion doesn't really have a huge use for flash with any of his abilities. So it's interesting choice. But yeah, Elysium trying to go for their second dragon here. Looks like they should easily be able to take this. And yeah, one of the advantages I think distinctly throughout this game for Elysium is that they've been able to have the bot lane pushed in most of the time. That's one of the things that Sivir does well is just, use her abilities, push out that lane over and over again. It has also resulted in a little bit of a CS lead, probably a little bit of a gold lead as well for the Elysium bot lane.
Ooh. Here we go. Now as the dive comes in, Chaser is going to use the flash to get out for the time being, but the quickness is going to find the charm onto one. Devour is used now onto Chaser. We'll see if Mobe has the damage here, but it doesn't look too good. Oh, that's a lot of damage coming in from the Q. The Abyssal Dive's going to find the knockup once more. And and Chaser both 1 HP. The snipe comes through, and Chaser goes down. But look at this. In the top lane, Glacial Prison will find Viva under the tower. We go flashing out. Look at the Cataclysm and the Equalizer is dealing so much damage. JP the Boss taking a 1 HP as Duddy trying to find the kill and will eventually, as 1-for-1 across the map.
Yeah, that was really, really close there. Viva just super, super close to going down, but able to just get out. Amazing not equalizer. Well, the equalizer was nice too, but also the Jarvan ultimate to keep them in place. If the equalizer had been a little bit further out, then it would have kind of gone over the entire Cataclysm. Which probably would have resulted in JP DeBoss dying even sooner, but he does end up going down in the end either way. And a little bit of a gold lead building up here from ToE. I think overall, out of those two fights across the map, the bottom lane one is the one that's a little bit more impactful to me. That's a fight that Chaser and Ahop wanted to continue going into. They definitely could have disengaged after that initial after the initial knockup and ultimate from the Varus, but instead they decided to take it. They felt good about the fight, and Chaser ends up getting knocked up twice by Tom Kench over this course of the fight, which, I mean, you're going to end up probably losing the fight if that ends up happening. But an interesting lane swap here now.
Oh, happening. Sombrero!
Ooh.
Shockwave goes wide on Daigen.
That looked close. It was close. It's the first, you got to have a sombrero. At some point, you got to have a sombrero, if you got Orianna in the game, you're gonna see one every once in a while. So that there it is. Hopefully you got it out of his system early there. Yeah, it was just supposed to be on Tom Kench anyways, so not so important. I mean, it's interesting though that again that they decided to make this switch early. We often see teams once it gets more into the mid game, which I guess we're about 15 minutes in making this swap of their bot lanes. But you could tell that it was just becoming really, really difficult despite their 2v2 victory there in that particular fight for Mobe and Daigen to be clearing out these waves.
Duddy Brand's going in here. Moby's sinking really low, flashing out of the Cataclysm. Do they have the damage to take him down? No. Both summoners are being burned here. Now Duddy in the backline taking a lot of damage. JP the Boss going to get eaten up. Maybe that was that correct? I don't know if he meant to do that, but JP still full HP. on the front lines of this play as the remaining solo laners have joined the party as well here. We'll see if Odysseus wants to look for something. Has Between Worlds as Aop goes in just for the knockup, and we'll get back out of there. But Elysium turned their sights on to potentially the Rift Herald. No, just going up to the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they probably could have taken down Rift Herald if they wanted to. I guess the solo laner is still high HP, but everybody else was kind of forced out. Um, so, I mean, this is still just a really close game. The gold lead going back and forth, but it's just such a minor gold lead at this point that it doesn't really necessarily affect the game that much. I think looking at it, I'm guessing that the biggest gold lead in the game would probably still belong to the Orianna just because of those 2 kills that she got. But outside of that, we don't have any major breaks. And I mean, you can see here with this Varus, now that he has completed the static shiv, now he can match that Sivir's wave clear pretty easily, able to take it out with just a static shiv auto attack and a Q. So we'll see
About a 600 gold lead for Kiba Boy on the Orianna here, and that's about what it is, for the game here. Elysium up 600 as a little bit of fighting over this vision in the river here. 2 dragons to 0 in favor of Elysium as well here, and the Cloud wins quicken on the Rift. We do have a Cloud Soul in play, so Rift Herald still on the table as well for the next 3 minutes, but Daigen looking for something here as Caxi is in the building. Chaser running for the hills, does not have the flash yet. Exhaust for the culture. They would decide not to chase any further here as now Duddy seems to be the target. Flag and drag out of there. We got 5v5 in this bottom side. Caxi does have the Glacial Prison, not opting to use it yet as we are on a knife's edge here. The trigger wants to be pulled, but hasn't yet. Is everyone posturing for this objective down here? Here we go. Quick on the hunt is going to be used here as we're going in between worlds. Going to find 3 as Duddy goes down. Chain of Corruption finds 2 roots, but I think that's going to be enough for Theory of Everything to just go on to this dragon.
Yeah, it's not worth losing anything more for Elysium. It's just the 3rd dragon. They picked up the first 2. I mean, it's obviously they would have.
JP the boss now looking for Kiba as Ahop and Chaser are in the area. Daigen now looking in, gonna find the knockups onto 0 as Kiba separated from the rest of the team, does have the flash of A and will use it. Taxi and JP gonna get hit with the shockwave to dispel any further aggression. Ooh. Someone just flashed in place. Viva in the bottom lane, flashing forward, taking down Odysseus with the solo kill.
Yeah, who flashed in place? I'm trying to see. Was it maybe...
It was Viva. It was Viva and Odysseus both flashed.
Okay. All right.
It was not in place. I just didn't see it.
Okay. Yeah. And then Odysseus ended up going down there in the bottom lane, 1v1. Okay, to Viva. All right. We got all sorts of action. This is kind of like a solo queue game here with the stuff happening in multiple areas of the map at the same time. But yeah, I mean, we're still I mean, especially with TOE being able to take that 3rd dragon, we're kind of as even as ever here, slowing that dragon sack. It is the cloud soul. I almost said clown soul. But which is pretty much what it is, I guess. Anyways, although I guess when you think about it too, it would be really sweet for Elysium in particular to have the cloud soul just getting that movement speed when they're using their ultimates. Thinking about it for like the Sivir and Rakan would be sweet, but we're quite a ways away from that at this point because of the fact that TOE was able to take that one down. And JP the boss, I mean, he's continuing to really move around this map, affecting things as much as he possibly can, but he's in trouble.
2 ultimates utilized here onto JP. The Cataclysm is going to lock him in and stop the unstoppable onslaught. We'll see if he can get out here as it doesn't look too good for him. Ahop has now joined the party just to get the assist, and Kiba will go on a killing spree. Now 3-0 on this Orianna, but look at the mid lane. The Herald spawned up by Theory of Everything, and they're going to crack this mid lane tier 1. Potentially a tier 2 as well.
I mean, I think that this is a pretty good trade if you're TOE. They lose their tank top laner. But yeah, wasting a lot of the enemy team's time, able to crack open that mid lane, which a lot of people, consider to be very important. Just being able to push your vision up, push up your map control. So TOE will have that advantage for now, and they have no problem being able to continuously push out these waves. It just seems like, something eventually kind of has to give in one
Oh,
of these team fights.
JP with the
Oh,
TP coming in. Let's see if he can find Kiba, who's recalling in the bush.
oh,
Got it. Kiba is in trouble. No flash. This should just be. Oh, no unstoppable onslaught yet. Knockup is gonna connect.
uh,
Slow does not. Kiba gets out. Wow, that was close.
yeah. If it was anybody but Scion, he probably would have been able to get it. But Kiba Boy, even feeling safe just to stay there.
Oh,
Oh, but he shouldn't have.
he's going for an unstoppable onslaught under the tower. Shockwave is gonna buy
Oh
some
my!
time. Kiba, 1 HP. No way.
He got
Oh,
away.
he gets away. He's out of there.
All
Oh
right,
my
it was
goodness.
calculated. It
Oh
was
my
very
goodness.
calculated. Overall, it was worth it. He just burned the unstoppable onslaught for nothing.
Uh-oh, Viva. Now could be in trouble. Going to use the equalizer. Glacial Prism is available between worlds. Here we go. As the burns are coming through, Ahop in the building now with the quickness. The heal will be used. Charm's going to find 2, but Ahop has no support and has to just get out of there. So a nice job by Viva and Ahop surviving that play in the bot side.
Well, obviously, he doesn't have any support, right, Chains? He's the support. So
It's a good point. It's a good point.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, able to keep his top laner alive there. I mean, JP DeBoss is the only thing keeping this game interesting, man. I mean, he's really all over the map. Whether it's he's succeeding or not. He's definitely keeping it interesting here. 35 seconds on the next dragon. Both teams kind of rushing out here. I would expect this to be contested. So maybe this is where we see a big team fight. You can see lots of vision control right now in the river for TOE. And so that some of that will start to be cleared out here right away. But JP DeBoss, he wants to have something to say about it.
Flag and drag will connect. This is the tanky Scion, though, and it's only Rakan and Jarvan. Here we go. On the hunt will be utilized. Odysseus is not here yet. Will TP really deep as a Cataclysm is going to find Daigen into the front lines. JP goes, is huge with the ultimate, but will fall. What can Odysseus do on the backside here? As he going to get a big ultimate? Oh, not going to use it yet is Duddy. Finding the kills. No, will go down instead. As Chaser doing a lot of damage, Equalizer is going to be burning on the backside as Mobe goes on a killing spree. Viva in the middle of 3 members of TOE now as Chaser trying to get back into the party. Daigen taken low, but will find the kill onto Viva as now they turn their sights on to Chaser. Chaser taken pretty low, but trying to deal the damage. Will find one back as Daigen falls. Odysseus will deal some damage here, trying to find it. Chaser's alive, though. The double buffs proving strong. Is Caxi going to start up this dragon? We'll see if Odysseus can find this Sivir. Boomerang Blade's not going to land. And the Q from Aurora, twofold Hex, will connect. Kiba Boy now joining the party and pushing TOE off the dragon. It's a big fight, and it's a fight win for Theory of Everything.
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, 8-8, the kills now evened up, but we're at the beginning. You could see Elysium, everybody full health bars sticking together really, really well. Then eventually, as the fight goes on, they just really weren't able to take down Mobe as fast as they would have liked. He was able to kite out Duddy Brains and then continue doing damage from there. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that's what'll happen when the enemy carry is able to stay alive. Doesn't stay alive for as long as Chaser, but now we're going to see another fighter on this dragon again because it's still up.
Here we go. It's a dragon started up by Theory of Everything. Duddy Brains wants to get in here as Chaser's not yet in the building. Oh, look at the ultimates coming in here. Between Worlds finds a lot of members. The Equalizer's going to be burning down the dragon. Goes over to Caxi, but let's see the fight after. Viva takes Daigen down as JP DeBoss in the backline trying to find Ahop. Going to get knocked up and will fall. That's going to be a 2-for-0, a 3-for-0 in favor of Elysium, but the dragon going over to Theory of Everything.
I think I'd take the 3-for-0 there for Elysium. They're able to push up the mid lane here. We'll see if they try to go for finishing this turret or if they want to go for something else. I mean, they're running up to the top side, I guess, because Chaser probably just wants to pick up that. No, they're going to do Baron.
Oh, baby. Baron started up here. Caxi is in the building. Odysseus in base. Does not have the TP here, but the Baron is not too fast. 11k HP. 10K. Caxi has the smite. Duddy Brains does not yet, but it's coming up in a few seconds. Ahop
Yeah,
is
the smite
now
steal
here.
last
Viva
time he was on
flashing.
stream.
Last time he was on stream, did have the smite steal here. The damage coming through, going to stop as Odysseus now trying to find it. Will find Duddy Brains. 3K on the Baron, but the jungler falls as now Daigen is here. Gonna find knock.
Oh,
This could be trouble as a double kill comes through for Odysseus. The Baron still at 3K as Between Worlds. Kiba Boy will follow triple kill as now the Chain of Corruption finds Viva Ahop with the damage coming through. A quadra kill for Odysseus. Does he have the penta? No, it's stolen by Mobe, but the Baron goes over to Theory of Everything in a 5-for-2.
what a banger fight there from TOE, getting there just in the nick of time. And even though Caxi isn't able to survive, the fact that they went over the side of the pit to get him bought enough time for the rest of the members of TOE to make it in. And Odysseus has been absolutely huge in these team fights as the game has continued to go on. Both of these mid laners actually have been pretty impactful, but it's been the Aurora who's really taking it home here for TOE. All right.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a big team fight there for Theory of Everything, picking up the Baron and 5 kills, a quadra kill on the mid laner. Like you mentioned, Odysseus huge in that team fight, just able to buy time, pick off Duddy Brains right away. So the smite threat was gone for Elysium. And Theory of Everything now sitting with a 2.5K gold lead as we approach the 27-minute mark.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's not actually even a bigger gold lead, honestly, after that fight and picking up the Baron, but it's the biggest gold lead that we've seen so far in this game. And as we do flip over to the gold there, I mean, you can see some of the leads coming through. Small lead in the mid lane, pretty decent lead in the jungle, and actually at the AD carry position, there's a decent lead as well. Nobody's, gapping entire items over their opponent yet, but we can see TOE start to move the needle in their direction here. I think the question for me is, that was a really advantageous position for a team fight for TOE. The members for Elysium were super scattered. They were trying to get the enemy jungler. They were trying to decide whether or not they were still able to finish the Baron. And so maybe if they can get a team fight set up, that's not so chaotic.
Going on to Chaser here. Do they have the damage? On the Hunt is popped, and the Chaser's able to get out, but the Chain of Corruption finds Duddy. Duddy has to flash out to safety. That's a lot of damage coming in from Mobe and the rest of Theory of Everything. Dragon spawning in a minute 30, but I think for the time being, they're just going to take this mid lane push and reset.
Yeah, except apparently JP DeBoss did not get the memo, just trying to have those baroned up cannon minions hitting this top lane inhibitor turret for as long as he can. But they're doing a nice job for Theory of Everything of rotating around this map, picking up the gold that they are, can access on the map in the form of these turrets. They're now going to be going for the third inner turret of the game for them, taking them all down. JP DeBoss thinking about just walking up there, but
Duddy with the Cataclysm. Here we go. Elysium wants to take this fight here as Daigen is taken quite low. Not going to go down yet here as Duddy Brains missed the flag and drag onto Mobe, but look at the damage coming in after. Huge arrow from Mobe takes down as Caxi flashing forward, trying to find more. Chaser is in the back, let's trying to get here, but the Chain of Corruption lands. The static shift proc is enough to take down Chaser, and that's a 3 kills as well. Another one coming down here as Caxi goes down under the tower. Triple kill for Mobe, and it is destruction. TOE wipes the floor with Elysium.
Yeah, and you can see just how powerful this Varus is at this point in the game. 3 items completed with the Rage Blade and the Dusk and Dawn alongside that Static Shiv. And you see just how much damage he is able to do when he pops that W. Even able to, when he was able to save the Chains of Corruption until that late in the fight, it's never going to be good for Elysium. Able to reserve that one just for hitting Chaser and finishing off the enemy AD carry. And meanwhile, again, like JP DeBoss is just kind of playing his own game. He somehow finished off the top lane inhibitor turret and then moseyed on in at the very end of the fight with the unstoppable onslaught. So I mean, now we're at the point where TOE is in position to take this next Cloud Dragon. I don't even know if it's going to be contested, and they will be able to put themselves on sole point if they do take this one down, which it looks like they should be able to. 5.5 thousand gold lead for TOE as they've taken control of this game. And I mean, in these fights that aren't as successful for Elysium, we really aren't seeing the impact nearly as much from that shockwave as well as the equalizer, which is something that we talked about as just being a really, really important thing for Elysium's team comp.
And it's just been hard. I mean, Duddy is diving into the backlines with the Cataclysm, but so frequently in these fights, the carries are able to flash out or
Yep.
just get devoured out of the ultimate. So it's just been so hard for Elysium to actually find one of those successful combinations with their ultimates. And TOE is just playing the fights very well here, up 5.5K gold, 3 kills, and sitting on a Cloud Soul point now. The Baron has wore off, but it will be spawning again in about 35 seconds. So we're going to have a fight there. Odysseus in the bottom lane has the TP available, so can
Oh,
get to
he's
that
gonna
play. But
drop
let's see what
that.
Daigen has. Daigen's going to get aggressed on here as the damage comes through. TP is now coming in for Odysseus. The Chain of Corruption is going to find Ahop as the unstoppable onslaught will find as well. Look at Kimo Boy with the shockwave onto one. It only finds Caxi, but the Cataclysm catches Mobe in the mix. But it's only Duddy trying to hit him. JP the Boss zoning the rest of the team out. Will fall eventually, but will get traded back for Duddy Brains. JP the Boss, zombie mode, going crazy, running him down. But nothing yet here as a 1-4-1. Top laner for jungler. Chaser very low, has to go down, but with the jungler for Elysium dead, Theory of Everything just turns to the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of space. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to pick this one up. Like you said,
No
there's
vision.
no enemy jungler. They are getting pretty low, though, so they don't want to make the same mistake that they were able to punish from Elysium. And so they will back off of it. That will remain on the map. And I mean, they have to reset quick because if they don't, you could definitely see Elysium being able to come back here. I guess 10 more seconds on Duddy Brain, so probably not going to be able to start it up anytime super soon. But I mean, as long as, going back to the fight, as you mentioned, I mean, Duddy is on top of Varus, but we've seen this multiple times now where it's just the jungler from Elysium trying to do everything he can to take down the Varus, but he just doesn't have enough damage to do so on his own. We really need to see that Orianna ball on his head when he jumps into the backline trying to get that shockwave onto Mobe, find some way to take down these enemy carries because you can see the 700 gold bounties on both Aurora and Varus for now. I mean, not only would that gold be nice to have, but killing those carries is going to be absolutely critical if Elysium is going to be able to take a win in one of these team fights.
And credit to JP the Boss, just causing chaos in Elysium's backline, not making it easy for their carries to play.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, it's easy. It's kind of hard to even exactly measure his impact because he's really just, I mean, I guess you would measure it by how much damage he's soaked up because he's dying in a lot of these fights, but it doesn't, I mean, that's who you want to die, right? Like, once the
He comes
Scion
back.
and Sejuani, yeah, exactly. First of all, he comes back, and once they've dumped their cooldowns out, the damage is done if they're able to zone Chaser and Kiba Boy out of the fight for as long as they have been so far. Especially Chaser, who definitely is being able to hit enemy champions throughout these fights. You can see those boomerang blades coming through, but it's just onto the Scion. So that doesn't end up doing that much for them.
4 items on both of these AD carries here. Like you said, Chaser dealing a lot of damage, but just hard to get in here. Dragon spawning in about a minute. As you can see, everyone's taking their resets. This is a potential Cloud Soul here for Theory of Everything. So, they want to look for that. Baron is also on the table. They could opt to, give up the Dragon in place of the Baron. Say, all right, we'll take the Baron. You can stop our soul, but we'll see here as, we'll see what these teams opt to prioritize objective-wise.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely in a good place if you're TOE in that regard because you have more of the choice. There's really, very negligible impact on the game at this point. If Elysium picked up the one Cloud Dragon, just because they're not at soul point yet. And so both teams just really playing the vision game here. We're clearing out waves on both sides, but even sacrificing some of these side lane waves in order for everybody to be grouped up.
Look for JP. The boss is looking anxious right now. I can feel like he's gonna look for something here. Walking forward into this bottom side. Duddy Brand's gonna go in, flag and drag. JP the boss taking really low as he unstoppable onslaught. He's not gonna find anyone. Look at the quickness in the backline as the knockups are huge. Cataclysm onto 3 as Odysseus has to flash out to safety. JP the boss in the backline dealing some damage, but what can Kiba do? Finds a shot onto Odysseus, and Mobe is caught. The Devourer comes through, but it doesn't matter. The bot lane falls. Chaser gets a huge shutdown. And it's a ginormous fight win for Elysium, 4-0 in their favor, and they're going to look at Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they can safely go over towards Baron this time. And now Caxi is still alive. He is going to try to get some vision here. We know what we saw last time. There's no vision on the other side of the pit. He's going to bide his time. Ahop trying to go over. I mean, yeah, he's going to try to go for some kind of steal here if he can.
I don't think he can. Oh, going for it. Flashing to the pit. He got it again. Caxi denies the Baron from Elysium and finds a second steal of the year on stream.
How does he do it, man? I saw it go down to 250, so somebody must have smited early, I'm assuming. Because yeah, he jumped in when it was still like 2k HP, so there's really no reason, especially for Sejuani. She does not have the damage to be able to combo that down to 1400. I really don't think. And so Elysium will take the consolation prize of the Cloud Dragon, but that's got to be pretty frustrating for Duddy Brains to not be able to land the smite on that play. But I mean, you know, it happens once, you call it a coincidence, but twice, it's skill.
Oh man, that's actually a disaster for Elysium. They get us 4-0 fight. They're feeling really good. Baron gets stolen away from them. Yeah, they're able to pick up the Cloud Dragon, but you know they're able to even up this gold lead as well here, less than 1,000 now in this game. But oh man, this one is on a knife's edge here. Back and forth we go, and finishing items coming to here. Guardian Angel now for Chaser completed, and Adaptive Helm for Mobe.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting that Mobe now going over into more tank stats, just has plenty of damage, just needs to find that survivability, to be able to stay alive in these fights. And as we saw, I mean, we saw it in that last fight when the front line is melted before the rest of the fight can kind of play out. When JP the boss was taken down so early on, then a lot of things open up and become possible for Elysium. But you would like to think that they probably won't make that same mistake again from TOE and be a little bit more strategic about tanking that much damage early on, as more and more items to cut through that have been built up here for the side of Elysium. They've got the Lord Dominic's Regards, they've got the Void Staff, to cut through a lot of that resistance from the Scion. So he's got to be a little bit more careful in these future fights. But yeah, I mean, that Baron steal was so huge from Caxi to be able to keep them alive in this game. Speaking of him,
Caxi is aggressing forward here, as we'll see what they can do. A lot of damage onto Duddy Brains here. As JP from the back line. Chaser now in the mix. Cataclysm and the Shockwave and the Equalizer. They're burning down, but between worlds, what can Odysseus do? Trying to find the damage here as the Guardian Angel will get popped for Duddy. Caxi will fall. JP will fall. 2-0 in favor of Elysium. We'll see what they can do with this here. We got no major objectives coming up for the next 2.5 minutes. So maybe just going to push out these waves and try and set up one of those objectives that's coming up.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a beautiful layering of those ultimates for the top side of the map here of Elysium, and it's what we've wanted to see all game long. It doesn't result in kills, onto these carries, but it does give them. I mean, it gives them the win in the team fight because both Varus and Aurora end up being forced to back off there. It doesn't look like there's going to be too much gained though, because they were able to stay alive. They can go back to base, refill their health bars, and then come back out here and clear the waves. I mean, overall, I think something in this game is that we're 40 minutes in. There is so much wave clear on both teams here that we didn't really kind of talk about, but both teams have multiple champions that can just clear these waves so easily, which keeps this game kind of going and going and going, because it's hard, neither one of these teams has really been able to engage in an extended siege at any point because they just don't have any minions to do it with. And I mean, nothing's going to change about that. If as long as you don't win a team fight definitively, it's really difficult to break into the enemy base.
Indeed, here as the dragon spawning in a minute and 15. It's a cloud soul for whoever gets the last hit. 40 and a half minutes into this game. This is a battle of a game number one here, and this is only the first game of the series. We still got more to play.
So, Varus has picked up the Seeker's Arm Guard, so he's going to have the mini Zaunya's
Ooh.
Hourglass, which is really important for him. I mean, I assume that that's something he's going to end up popping when he gets a Dove on the next time. So that's definitely a cooldown to keep an eye on here.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa, engaging here on to the mid lane. Moby has to flash out to safety, but they're following him down. Daigen is going to fall here. And the team, for theory of everything, it extends too far. With their solo laners pushing in the side lanes, JP DeBoss is going to pick up that top lane inhibitor tower. Viva is going to be there to stop him as JP will TP back in. 3v4 in favor of Elysium now as they're pushing down this mid lane. Can they find anything here? We'll see. As still 30 seconds on the bottom lane of Theory of Everything. The dragon spawning in a few seconds should mean that Elysium's able to pick that up. But just a critical mistake positioning-wise. What were they doing?
Yeah, they were just way too far up, especially with JP DeBoss being all the way in the enemy base, which he did get what he came for, which is that top lane inhibitor. Something to watch out for, I guess, because it will naturally push that wave in. Something that they're going to have to address, since both teams have mostly been ARAMing it for like the last 5 minutes of this game. But the soul goes over to Elysium. They really wished, that they had the opening to take the Elder Dragon, but Elder Dragon not spawned at this point because we had the maximum amount of dragons that could possibly spawn in a game. Here with both teams picking up 3 and then ultimately the soul going over to Elysium. Whew. It's bearing up. Both teams have got to prioritize the vision around here. You can't all reset at the same time, because at this point in the game, 43 minutes in, either team can delete this Baron really quickly.
Positioning is crucial here. No one can get caught out. No flash on Mobe, but for everyone else in the game, flash is available. So keep an eye on that as JP DeBoss getting chunked out a little bit. He's not as tanky. There's some penetration now for the carries of Elysium as they work their way into this top lane top side river. So here we go. Caxi and the rest of the team on the hunt is popped. They're looking for it. Odysseus trying to find a corner to look at, but they're just going to back up and move back into this topside river here.
Are they going to force him over?
Theory of Everything does have the scuttle crab, so they can see what's going on. As Caxi and JP still a bit chunked. Kiba hiding around the corner. Key ability does have that Banshee's Veil now, so can block out on something here as they find Kiba. They're looking for him. Between Worlds is going to get popped here. Glacier Prism and Chain of Corruption used to find this mid laner, but they can't find him. As now Duddy Brain's going in. Moby going to get spit back out here as the quickness comes through. Finds Moby as well here. He's going to go golden to buy us some time. Duddy Brains with the GA is going to come back to life here. As JP DeBoss taking pretty low. Moby is low as well. Going to go down. Viva on a rampage. Odysseus goes golden to try and make the hero play, but it's only going to delay the inevitable here as Elysium comes out on top of the fight 4-0, and they're going to be pushing down mid and looking to end this game 1.
Yeah, death timers are so long here. It's going to be still 54 seconds on the Aurora as Caxie's going to um get this wave to buy a little bit more time, but Viva here to protect it. So he's going to get chased away from it. They should be able to, I think they should just be able to go up mid and end
Yeah,
this game here.
they got it.
Turrets
Elysium,
going down.
Elysium, best theory of everything in game number 1, a 45-minute banger, and that's a way to start off the series.
Woo! It definitely a banger is the only word to describe it here. 45 minutes long is not something that we see a lot in this season, mostly because usually somebody takes the soul a little bit quicker. But in this particular case, we get that 7 dragon game, and then there's actually no elder dragon throughout it. Finally, that one definitive team fight. They blew everything that they had to try to get Kiba Boy, and they didn't. And so after that, TOE left with no major cooldowns anymore, and that really proved to be the end of them. But a super close game makes it really exciting. Very excited to see the rest of this series.
Indeed, here. You know it's going to be a good one. That's how we start it off. We're going to throw it to a break, but we will be back for the pick ban of game number 2. Can Elysium take down Theory of Everything into a fashion, or will Theory of Everything force a game 3? Don't go anywhere. righty, and welcome back here. We are in the pick and the ban for game number 2 between Elysium and Theory of Everything. Sides have been swapped, and bans are coming. Elysium taking away Amumu and Yorick. Theory of Everything getting rid of the Senna and the Rise. JP the Boss likes to play that Yorick. We saw it in a couple weeks ago. It was a menace.
Yep. Still waiting for him to bust out the Garen though. That's the most played, at least in solo queue. So maybe the time will come at some point. Elysium, they won game 1, and now they also made a swap to have their regular starting mid laner back in the game. So Naysayer is here now, just a little bit late to the party. But meanwhile, his team was able to get it done in game 1. So I mean, maybe you should have just kept Keep a Boy in. Seemed like he did pretty good. Just saying.
I mean, Kiba was balling. I can't even lie. The Oriana was huge, especially in the late game. Once was able to pick up those items, the death cap came through and it was over. I mean, Ori was popping. But oh man, look at this. Smolder. Smolder left open here. Elysium with the blue 1. Picking up the baby dragon.
Okay, yeah, Smolder being left open. I'm trying to see what the change in the bans was that allowed them to have that. I thought that they banned Thresh in the first one. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, Smolder's left open and is picked up as the first pick here. So they're going to prioritize, it looks like, at least the bot laner that they'd like to go against it, which will be the Jinx. We'll see if they will pick up the pairing alongside it here, or if they want to prioritize jungle, or what direction.
It was Yorick over Smolder. Elysium banned Yorick. I mean, sorry, banned Smolder in game 1 and banned Yorick in game 2 because they were on blue side.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, with Smolder, I mean, if we see another 45-minute game this time as Lulu coming through, I mean, I guess I was just going to say, if we see another 45-minute game coming through this time, I know who I'm going to expect to win. But on the other hand, if there was another 80 carry that, scales like that, it's going to be the Jinx. So with Lulu and Jinx, they're just going to be trying to keep Mobe alive. And I mean, Mobe played really, really well in the first game, stayed alive as much as he really could. Won't have the Tom Kench. I mean, Lulu is to a similar effect, obviously, but not quite as extreme. Oh, okay. We'd love to see it. The Blitz
fired up and ready to serve. Ahop is feeling it in game number 2, getting the Blitzcrank.
Dude, I mean, Blitzcrank isn't necessarily the best champion in a lot of different circumstances, but he is one of the most fun champions in the game to watch. So I'm excited to see how that goes.
Wukong,
and yeah,
gonna be the pick for Elysium, and most likely in that jungle role here. I expect Theory of Everything to pick up a jungler as well. But I think this bot lane matchup is going to be the highlight just already. Oh, okay. Some Ornn for JP to boss.
All right, yeah, just following up with another tank here. I personally actually like Ornn a little bit better as far as his ability to impact these team fights. Not necessarily quite as, I don't know, doesn't necessarily, he does less things in lane maybe than Sion, but definitely a fun champion to watch. Also, obviously, increases the ability of the Jinx later in the game, upgrading the items. He's really, really good as the game goes late, if that happens again. But as we go through the second round of ban here, expecting a lot of mid laners to likely come off the board. I mean, it is kind of a, what am I trying to say? It's a gutsy move to pick the Ornn blind. There's a lot of champions that can punish Ornn, but I mean, the things that punish it the hardest, like something like a Fiora, probably not something that we would see in this game. It's definitely, I mean, it's not something that you just kind of pick up on the fly here. For Viva, who, Rumble is his #1 most played. Then you got Camille, you've got Mbessa. So definitely kind of like those fighter sort of champions that can do well in lane against Ornn, but nothing that really, really punishes it quite as hard as you do see the Camille being banned away. So they do not want to see that one in particular against the.
Taking Jin Zhao away from Caxi is the last ban for Elysium here. We'll see what Theory of Everything wants to go for with this red 4. I assume it's a jungler. Save the last pick for the mid lane, but I've been wrong many times on stream this season already in terms of what roles they're going to draft and when. Pantheon is the hover.
Yeah, I know that Caxi
Boom.
played this
Okay.
Pantheon in one of their wins last week against Final Boss, so we'll pick that one up. Pantheon, definitely a really strong jungler, exciting to watch. He can get around the map really well, obviously with his ultimate. So that will be, I mean, it's definitely something that it will be nice here to get onto the backline, onto the Smolder. One of the things that you sacrifice when you pick Blitzcrank is that you don't have a support that is able to provide a lot of peel for Smolder. So that will be something to watch because, you know, Mordekaiser coming in, definitely a good one-on-one matchup here against the Ornn, but with Duddy Brains on the Wukong, and we'll see what comes mid lane here. But they've got a lot of champions that more like to go in. They've just got the most hateable champions.
This
here
is such a
for
this is so
Elysium, dude.
disgusting, dude. This is so disgusting.
If there's one thing we can agree on, dude, Mel, come on.
Mel's my least favorite
She
champion, I
exists.
think, right now.
She's
Yeah, this
not nearly
composition
as
is
bad as she used to
disgusting.
be.
This composition for Elysium is pretty disgusting. They have just a lot of good, strong picks right now. Xerath is going to be the counter for Odysseus in the mid lane, and Xerath's another champion that we don't see too much, I feel like.
No, not a huge amount. I feel like maybe we've seen it one game on stream earlier in this season, but I can't exactly recall. Definitely not something we see a ton of. It does do a good job of matching the wave clear of Mel. Really just trying to clear those waves out, and also I mean, another thing here again, like that can get really, really annoying later in the game, if you are Elysium, is that for both Mel and Smolder, but especially Smolder, like if you just get dove on by the Pantheon, he doubles you, Xerath hits R, and just hits you rapid fire with a couple of blasts from his ultimate. That's just going to be all she wrote for Smolder. So it's going to be on Chaser to find ways to stay alive in these team fights, because this is not a team composition that I would love to play against as an 80 carry. I mean, so
On both sides, to be honest.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, okay, looking at this just kind of in a larger sense also, the other thing about Blitzcrank is it's just such a feast or famine champion, like if he's able to land impactful hooks onto the Xerath or onto the Jinx, frankly, Xerath should never be in a position to get grabbed by the Blitzcrank, but if he for some reason is, or especially if Mobe is in position to get grabbed, that is going to be, that's going to be the team fight wins. However, if they're able to play around the vision well, and know where Blitzcrank is at all times, stay out of the reach of his grasp, then he becomes kind of just basically a minion with a knockup and a very brief silence if he gets in melee range.
Yes. I'm excited for this game. You know what I mean? I think both of these compositions are pretty strong in their own right. And all I know is we're going to have some explosive 5v5s as we get through this mid game and into the later stages. So I'm excited. We might have another 45-minute game. And if we do, these 80 carries are going to be so strong that it's going to be disgusting. But, I think one thing that's key to look at in terms of these 280 carries is that Smolder's going to be strong no matter what. Jinx needs that reset to kind of come online and really take over the fight. So if Theory of Everything is not able to get that reset quickly, I think it might be hard for Mobe to actually turn up in these late game team fights. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see as we get there.
Yeah, I mean, I also think once we get into the thick of these fights, it's just going to be so incredibly important, as it was last game as well, to keep Mobe alive, because Xerath is able to dish out the damage, but not really in such a short amount of time. He really wants to obviously poke you down before the fights and then come into the fights with an advantage. And so it's going to be a game of keeping these AD carries alive, but especially for me on the side of ToE, they've got to make sure that Mobe is able to stay alive throughout these team fights. And like you said, Right Chains as well, it's going to depend on getting that first reset, which Xerath theoretically should set you up really well to do. I mean, you can theoretically use the Xerath ultimate into the Jinx ultimate and kill people from 100% HP, half a map away if it's executed well. But it's the burden of execution is very high on these champions.
Absolutely. We're going to see when we get on to the Rift for this game number 2. But first, do you guys want to piss your friends off live on stream? Are you interested in baiting the players or even a coach? Through pure CCS ingenuity, we've made that possible. For just 100,000 channel points, you can get your messages shown live on screen mid-game, just like they do in the LCS. Want to bait even more people? CCS subscribers get 1 free bait a month. One rage bait per game, first come, first serve. So you got to get it in quick. And there's no carryover per month either. This is not your corporate PTO program. So you got to lose it or use it. Add Flay or Redacted or any CCS mod for questions and requests in the Discord. We are going to take a short break for competitive integrity spectator delay, but we'll be on the Rift for game number 2 between Elysium and Theory of Everything. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are on to the Rift for game number 2 between Elysium and Theory of Everything. Elysium on the blue side, Viva in the top lane on the Mordekaiser, Duddy Brands on Wukong in the jungle, Naysayer on Mel in the mid lane, and Chaser and Ahop rounding it out on the Smolder and the Blitzcrank in the bottom lane.
This time, JP to Boss taking the Ornn into the top lane. We got Caxi on the Pantheon in the jungle, Odysseus on the Xerath in the mid lane, Mobe and Dagon with the Jinx and Lulu. And the early season 2026. You don't have any time to get your popcorn, to get your drink here because the minions spawn immediately. I'm a big hater on that. As an old head, I guess, of League of Legends. But nevertheless, I mean, we don't have a level 1. There's no level 1 anymore. That's my big thing about it is, those level 1 invades and those level 1 team fights that would go crazy. We don't get any of that action anymore here in season 2026. So that's my big complaint.
You got to get your drink and your popcorn in the competitive integrity spectator delay.
It's
Come
true.
on now.
That's the other. We're gonna have to start calling it that too. It's the competitive integrity popcorn and a drink spectator delay from now on.
Don't forget it, because you're gonna want it once level 3 comes around. You're gonna look for a snack, and you're not gonna have it unless you got it early. So both of these junglers on the top side starting out there, gonna be working down towards this bottom lane. We mentioned in the champion select that this bottom lane is going to be the major point of contention here. Ooh, nice hook lands on to a Daigen. Ignite's going to be ticking down, but a lot of damage coming through. Smolder flashing forward, and Chaser finds first blood. But look at the level 2 now onto Mobe. Not going to be able to trade anything back, but okay. A-Hop with the nice hook.
That was a sick hook. Definitely. He timed it perfectly with the minion dying there. They needed that additional damage from the turret shot onto the Lulu if they were going to be able to get that kill, and they picked it up. So, I mean, Smolder going to be really happy to pick that early kill up in the bot lane. It did cost the flash, I will say, I guess, from Smolder, so that's something to take a look at here. Possibly Caxi could take advantage of that in the next 5 minutes here if the wave is in a good spot. But I mean, just before that, I was about to say that it's kind of a rough early situation there for Blitzcrank. But, as I said that, he did what he could to make him an impact.
Oh boy, we got to fight in this river here as Daigen is taken pretty low and will go down. Duddy Brains finds the second kill of the game, but okay, Caxi gonna trade that one back. As now Naysayer is in trouble. No mana on Odysseus though, but gonna get some of that back from the auto attack. And no more action mid lane, but Daigen going down twice in just 3 minutes. Okay, Odysseus with the flash forward. Do they have the damage?
What?
They do!
Oh.
Odysseus finds it.
I was not sure if they were going to have the damage without Caxi going in there. He didn't have his flash, so he wasn't able to flash W forward, but I expected him to W, but it was cool, calm, and calculated.
Like all things are.
Yep. Yeah,
2-2
very
here.
Unfortunate for Naysayer because he flashed and then still got hit by the stun from Odysseus. So just not what they would have been looking here, but early on, very exciting stuff here, 2-2 as far as the kills. And I mean, even though this Lulu, I mean, at first I was going to say we should keep an eye on this Lulu dying twice early, but she probably is just able, it looks like she was just able to get back to lane, grab an XP now. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal for her as far as being behind individually. But those does account for both of the deaths early on here for TOE, but it's all right. She's really just bought to press buttons on Jinx as the game goes on.
Yeah, as long as Daigen can keep Mobe alive, that's what matters on this champion. So it's okay. You're playing against a Blitzcrank who's gonna want to look for those early kills, so it makes sense. No problems there. 300 gold lead in favor of Elysium right now. First dragon of the game has spawned, and it is Cloud. So we won't get 2 back-to-back games of Cloud Soul, thank goodness.
Yeah, JP DeBoss just taking over for level 6. I expected Viva to maybe try to take him to the death realm while he had that lead in levels, but decided not to. Gonna back off. I'm interested to see what this Mordekaiser decides to do first as far as itemization in this one. I assume that he's going to go for the Dusk and Dawn first base. Well, actually, no, he could go for Rylai's or Dusk and Dawn first base on this build so far. So into the Mordekaiser builds lately. It's a rabbit hole.
Ooh, okay, Chaser taking a tower shot there for fun. It's not gonna be good for the Elysium bot lane, but nothing too crazy so far here. And yeah, Viva is starting to kind of take advantage here as a hook lands onto Mobe in this bottom side. Both of the junglers are here though, so we're gonna be getting some action. Ignite's gonna be utilized there. As now Duddy is in the building. Cyclone's going to find the knockups onto two as Daigen will fall. Cyclone, the second iteration, looking on a Caxi as Chaser's taking really low. The stun's going to come through, but the barrier and the hook away allows Duddy to find a double kill on this Wukong. As now, oh, look at this. The shot's coming in. Arcade Barrage, bang! Finds the shutdown on to Chaser.
Yeah, that was like so annoying to watch from Caxi's perspective, trying to get around the alcove.
Now Viva into the Death Realm, burning the flash out of JP to boss. You mentioned it, you know, wanted to see Viva go into that Death Realm, and asking you shall receive.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really going to be much better other way to use that at this point, because he's probably not going to get ganked anytime super soon, which is the other time that you might want to pull it out. But JP to boss is just kind of surviving through this early lane, not able to be quite as competitive in it as he was on the Scion. But I mean, really, again, kind of similar to the Lulu in a way. It's fine for this Ornn to not be doing super well early. He just wants to get through the lane, be able to upgrade those items later, provide that long range engage, which is something he'll still be able to do. But yeah, I mean, in the bot lane here, Chaser does have a decent CS lead early on in this one. And I mean, we could see how well his team did in peeling for him during that gank. So it's impressive team play to see there. That's going to be the kind of thing that they're going to need later in these team fights to keep the Smolder alive. And that is really the, you know, we highlighted it during the Champions Live, but that's what we're going to be looking for more than anything else in these team fights, is the ability of these teams to keep their AD carry champions alive. For now, neither one will be truly online for quite a while. For Jinx, it's more about the items. For Smolder, it's about items, but also those stacks and picking that up.
Like you mentioned, a little bit of a CS lead here for Chaser. Elysium up 4 kills to 3 here, and that has, you know, given them about a 8 to 900 gold lead in this game so far as we approach the 9-minute mark. No one's looked at the Dragons yet, as both of these junglers now making their way onto this bottom side. As with the push coming in, you know, I think they might try and look for it now, as Viva is going to get a nice trade onto JP. And the bottom lane for Elysium is going to rotate up to this crab, try and secure some of this bottom lane river control. And the dragon started up for them as well. It should just be an easy take here, as Theory of Everything not interested in contesting this one.
No, the first dragon just going to go down for free to Elysium. So they take that one down. I mean, they do have already about an 800 gold lead here, 9 minutes in, which is more substantial than their previous one. But Viva could take him to the death room.
Caxi's going to find 2 of the grubs for the time being. Duddy's going to be the first to move here as the Ornhorn gets sounded. Viva's dealing so much damage now as Caxi has to flash away. And will secure that last grub, but 2 of them going over to Theory of Everything. So they will, you know, get the benefits of the grubs.
Yeah, I guess he was kind of stuck in a little bit of a tight spot for Viva, because if he took Caxi to the death realm, he probably just would have flashed over even sooner. And so it pretty much would have been worthless, I guess, as that hook is going to go wide onto Mobe there. But yeah, so early objectives being traded there. I think overall, usually the grubs are, if you can get the majority of them, are a little bit stronger than just that first dragon. But they were able to avoid them getting all 3 of them critically. And I mean, looking at, you know, the results of these early skirmishes as well, Wukong does come out as another winner of this. He is now level 8, so we're looking for the next opportunity for him to do something big is right now they're really zoning a ToE bot lane completely off of the wave. They're just kind of
Well,
waiting for that one to crash in.
no Grand Starfall for Caxi yet, so can't make it to the play at a moment's notice. Rite of the Arcane's available though for Odysseus, and I think Duddy's just gonna walk it out here. Not interested in potentially making that dive and throwing the lead that he has for himself.
Yeah, would not be a good idea, especially with the Whimsy available from from Daigen as well. Just being able to make somebody into a little puppet under the turret.
Whimsy. I like it.
The Whimsy.
11 and a half minutes into this game here. 1.3k gold lead now for Elysium, and looking at the states of the lanes, these side lanes where that actually all of the lanes in fact are where that CS lead is for each of these Elysium laners, not to mention the 3 kills going over to Duddy. Pings down onto this bottom side, but we've had a couple minutes of kind of nothing going on here, just farming it out. And now we got Ahop on the move towards this mid lane, but
yeah, I think
nothing's there.
I mean, farming it out is kind of what we expected to see early in this game. It was kind of an aberration, I guess, that we saw so much early fighting, and both of these teams now just content to play it pretty cool and depend on their team compositions later on in the game to do what they built them to do. But Odysseus, not going to get jumped on here, able to just walk that one out. It looks like we've got 3 2-0 finishes so far today in CCS, happening pretty quick, with Lotus beating Khan, Dorado over Final Boss, and then XFV Hydra winning the XFV Civil War there. So Elysium would love to follow in their suit and find the 2-0 victory. Or they're a long way to go from that right now, though. Just 12 minutes in. About a 1,500 gold lead here. And remember, for Elysium, they're fighting to go 3-1, which should put them in pretty good position in Group B.
Oh, baby. Grand Starfall into this bottom side here. Chaser going to utilize the E to run away. Ahop's taking pretty low. Mom's going to get called in here. Duddy is in the building now as Mobe's going to find the reset. Flashing in. Duddy will find the kill with the Cyclone, as Daigen now running for the hills here. Will get aggressed on further and will go down. A double kill for Duddy Brains, as Naysayer in the building in this bottom side as well here, but can't find anything on to Caxi. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Elysium, and 2 more kills onto the Wukong.
Yeah, despite the fact that Caxi starts by getting behind Chaser, he never ends up being able to get on top of the Smolder. And if they can't get on top of Smolder, they're not going to win any of these fights. This is what is going to be really, really impactful. And it's one of the reasons that I think JP DeBoss is going to be absolutely critical later in this game for ToE, if they can make it to these team fights in an even enough state, because they really, really need him to find access to the backline with the Call of the Forge God. Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, we can see what happens, and a nice job by the rest of the team from Elysium to kind of fall back in a way that protects Chaser from that gank. So far, I think Elysium looking quite a bit better here in this second game. I mean, not much of it has had to really do with Naysayer. In fact, Naysayer pretty much...
Flashing forward. Just going to be a trade of flashes there. Caxi for Chaser. Oh, but Duddy's here. Will he look for it? Daigen might be in trouble here. Oh, hook lands on the Caxi, as we'll see if there's coming in. Rite of the Arcane's going to be letting it fly. We're back into the top lane now, as there's a battle down up there as well, as Naysayer now going to get aggressed on. Burning the flash to run for the hills. Overall, I think that was a winning play for Theory of Everything, as this dragon now spawned up. It is a Chemtech. The low health bars for Daigen and Naysayer. Naysayer has to back, does not have that TP available.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the hook looked really nice from Ahop onto Caxi, but ultimately they probably would have actually gotten the kill if he had hooked the Lulu. But
Mhm.
wanting to get the higher priority target here as the dragon is interrupted.
Oof. Yep, taking a lot of damage there. Dragon. Here we go. 1.5k as Caxie's going to get in. Take the smite steal again as now getting aggressed on Caxie. Could be in trouble. Here's the Cyclone's going to be spinning. Chaser is going to find the kill there as Derry going on to Odysseus under the mid lane tower will find the 6th kill of the game for this Wukong. So Dragon goes over to ToE, but 2 kills going over to Elysium.
Yeah, and nice job to be able to steal away the dragon, but ultimately I think those 2 kills going to be really, really helpful for Elysium. They're happy to come away from the situation with that. Both teams now just tied at 1-1 for the Dragons. And yeah, I mean, this Wukong could potentially be a big problem for the backline of ToE. He already has the first item completed on the way to his second item. And it's really once Wukong has that Trinity Force done that he actually
Oh
starts
boy.
to really become a menace in the backline.
More plays into this bottom side, aggressing on Chaser once again. But oh, look who's here! Dottie!
Dude.
Paul, oh man, it's just so cooked. TP's coming in too, Viva. Oh my goodness, it's a disaster. Theory of everything. As Caxi gets taken into the death realm, the tower gets honored one time, and it's gonna be a 3-0 in favor of Elysium. A double kill comes through for Viva. The bot lane tower falls, and the gold lead is 5k now.
Yeah, gold lead building much earlier on in this game. And I mean, it's the second time that we've seen Caxi find what looks like a great angle to ultimate behind the enemy lines. But Smolder is a really annoying champion. And he just does that little thing where he flies away. It kind of makes me enraged to watch it, honestly. What is it? Flap, flap, flap. I mean, what kind of... Anyways. I have nothing else to say. Flap, flap, flap away.
I mean, he's flapping, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is, I guess.
Yeah. Stack check here on the Smolder as we approach the 18-minute mark. 163. So almost halfway to that final form, from the second form here. This and Chaser is looking pretty nice here. 3, 1, and 6. Got the 2 items completed. The crit cloak as well. Not to mention Duddy on the Wukong, Trinity Force, and Sundered Sky completed. And this is just, Elysium just going to be able to walk in to Theory of Everything's jungle here. Take vision, take control, take camps. It's going to be so hard for Theory of Everything to do anything right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking a little bit rough here. If you are ToE with the Smolder just being so strong.
Oh no! Another hook here as Wild Growth going to be used to keep Dagon alive. The heal burn as well here. JP to boss. What even happened there? He's flashing away from Naysayer here. No one's in the building as now he's going to look forward, looking for more. Naysayer does not have the flash available as JP to boss bellows breath, dealing some damage as the Forge God now gets called, reflected back. As Naysayer's okay for now. I think no casualties in that bottom side.
Yeah, I mean, I really would think that JP DeBoss needs to find a way to impact this game somehow. It's certainly not his fault where things are at right now, but unless we can see the Ornn actually starting to make more of an impact in this game, I mean, again, it's not the linchpin, but it's one of the things that kind of stands out. He was just everywhere all around the map this last game on the Cyan, just creating mass chaos, not only in the team fights, but also just in kind of the rotations around the map. And on Ornn just doesn't have the ability to do that quite as much. So that's something that I have my eye on here. If they're going to be able to turn around any of these team fights, it's definitely going to be that partially on that Ornn and the long range engage to get things started.
And it is looking not the best for Theory of Everything, but the beauty of this Jinx champion is that all it takes is one team fight, to turn it around. And, that's always possible. So, toe enjoyers, do not worry. It's not over yet.
It
A
certainly
lot of
is
game
not
left to play.
over yet. As long as the Nexus is alive, it's still possible for sure.
Nexus is alive, and we're here.
Yep.
Gold lead
This
increases to 6K.
Yeah, and the next dragon coming up now, I assume that this will just be taken by Elysium. I don't think that there's any way for ToE to be able to do anything to contest this. I mean, the tough thing too for ToE is that the way that their team composition is built, they really want to be able to poke out the enemy team before these objectives. Oh, as JP.
Oh my.
He's in trouble.
This is 4 members in this bottom lane for JP here. Oh, he's going to TP out right in the face of Blitzcrank, who has a knockup? I don't know. Why not? Who's going to get the kill? Work. Chaser will. And Chaser's now on a killing spree. But wait a minute. ToE's starting up the Baron. Do they got it like this?
They got to do something. They've got to do something. Like this. Yeah, they don't.
No damage.
Yeah, Viva could also just walk in and ult the jungler, which would then take away their smite, which would make things pretty difficult. So, makes sense that they tried to they went off of it. I do like the ambition to start it to begin with, but it now does mean that they've got to reset on the map. They're going to lose their positioning here. They're probably going to lose their mid lane turret, which is going to increase the gold lead even more. It's a 7,000 gold lead.
Caxi in trouble. Cyclone's going to be utilized here. Wild Growth is going to keep him alive for the time being. As Right of the Arcane is going to be letting it fly from the top side. But it doesn't matter. Caxi's going to fall, and a 7th kill for Duddy. Looks like they're going to turn their sights onto the Baron now.
Yeah, now the Baron for Elysium. It's just 22 minutes in, but I mean, yeah, what can you do here to contest this? If you are ToE, they're going to keep multiple members in the brush just to be able to contest. And Odysseus trying to... Oh,
that was close.
Prediction hook there does not land.
Try to predict it as here we go. Here comes the play. Yeah, 6.5K on the Baron. Super Mega Death Rocket's not going to find anything here. As Caxi is now back as the Grand Starfall, if they can stall long enough. Ornhorn has been called. No one answers. As looks like ToE has gotten Elysium off the Baron here.
They were just remembering the Baron steal last game. I gotta imagine they're just afraid of Caxi's supremacy in that regard. I think that's really the only explanation, because I think they probably would have been able to finish it, or maybe I guess they could have been worried that, you know, Pantheon would have been able to ult in there after they finished the Baron. Potentially could have been disadvantageous sort of situation for them at that point. And the last thing that you want to happen if you're Elysium right now is some kind of Jinx pentakill, you know, to get them right back into the game. So I think ultimately probably smart to just back off at the Baron. They know that it's not like ToE is going to be able to start it off as they back off. So vision placed, vision cleared.
I'm just looking at the gold right now, and Chaser's up 60 CS on Mobe and is up 3,000 gold.
Woo!
So a full item. Yikes. And now is going to be on that max stack Elder Dragon 3rd level of the passive. So, man, this Smolder is online. No need to call mom, because he can handle it on his own.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, we've seen some pretty intense bot lane supremacy from Elysium in this game. We saw how good they were in lane for the most part during that first game. They have been able to kind of extend that onto the map this game. Really, really nice lead there from the Smolder, and they're going to start up the Baron again.
Baron started up here. It's going down pretty fast. No vision for Theory of Everything. They know now as the Right of the Arcane is going to be popped here. Grand Starfall coming in. Does he have what it takes? No, he does not. As the Baron is secured by Duddy. Now Caxi is in the pit. Does not have flash. Only delaying the inevitable. Ahop is going to find his first kill of the game on the Blitzcrank. But the Baron goes over in Elysium, now wearing purple.
Yeah, Elysium with the Baron. Almost a 10,000 gold lead at this point. And Caxi tries, but without any vision, just a little bit late to get into that pit. Oh!
On, Ahop.
All
Let him
right,
know.
we gotta put some respect on his name here. We kind of questioned the Blitzcrank pick. We said it's a feast or famine. Well, they're feasting tonight because A-Hop has had some very impactful grabs in this game, put them in the position that they want to be. And I mean, yeah, I mean, Elysium at this point is just really, really in the driver's seat. You would have to see some sort of huge turnaround fight from TOE if they wanted to stay in this one. They're just not, yeah, they just don't have the damage once the team fights sort of break out to put
Mhm.
themselves in a good place. I mean, as I think I started saying earlier, like they really, really want to be in a position where they're able to use the Xerath to poke out the members of the enemy team so it's not a fair fight. And they just don't have the opportunities to do that because they're not able to push up their vision. The Lulu is way too vulnerable. Every time she's trying to go up and put down any vision that's deep into the enemy territory, she's going to get taken down. And they also just don't have the time because they just get engaged on before Odysseus is able to land significant enough poke. We really haven't seen the poke from the Xerath impact this game at all.
Yeah, and interesting, speaking of the Xerath now, looking at the build here, Void Staff's second item for the Xerath.
Questionable.
That's a little bit
Questionable.
interesting. Does have that evolved as well now from the Ornn. So, I don't know. I'm not sure what the thought process is there, getting that penetration, but I don't know if it's needed this early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think like if you're thinking about it from a mathematical angle, I'm pretty sure that I can confidently say that Void Staff is not the best option to maximize your damage at this point. I mean, I don't really know how much magic resist has even built up other than the Mordekaiser.
Yeah. Viva's able to take on that tower in the mid lane, or that inhib in the mid lane, sorry. And look at the damage from Chaser.
Yeah.
Just putting on a clinic right now on this Smolder here as the minions are on to the Nexus towers in that mid lane. This wave crashing into the bottom lane inhibitor tower as well. So that inhib should fall as soon as well. A-Hop taken pretty low as Odysseus doing a little bit of damage, but still the base is in shambles right now for Theory of Everything. And Elysium, let's see what we got here. Ornhorn is called, and oh my gosh, A-Hop explodes, sending cinders everywhere.
Well, get that one on the board. They got the kill on the Blitzcrank. I don't know how much it's gonna matter, I guess, here. We've got the 4 upgraded Ornn items at this point. Ornn is all the way at level 17, so they do have those upgrades, but again, they're just so far behind in gold that maybe kind of stymies a little bit of how far behind they are, but it ultimately is just not going to make that much of a difference. And I think a really good point that you made during the Champs Select Rye Chains is that for Jinx, she's a champion that's really dependent on getting that first reset. And we just haven't been able to see them pull that off in the team fights of getting that first kill in a place where Jinx can still have an impact in the fight.
Caxi gonna get caught out in his own jungle here into the Death Realm as Viva should be able to finish that off pretty easily here. Viva goes on a killing spree. And I think Elysium sees blood in the water. They want to look here as they have 5 members strong in this top side of the map. The last remaining inhibitor is there. Another thing about the Jinx is that you need to get that third item, the IE, online as well. And Mobe just hasn't been able to do that this game because he's been so behind in gold. And that makes it hard to do damage,
Yeah, it really does. I mean, yeah, he's just not he's not able to do substantial enough damage, and this is the third.
Here we go.
Oh.
What do we got here? Ornhorn is reflected back. Super Mega Death Rocket finds some damage. Naysayer is taken pretty low. Chaser is so low as well here. As the hook lands onto Mobe, A-Hop finds it again. And that should be the game here as Caxi diving into the backline. A double kill comes through for Chaser. Maybe a triple kill. As there it is. The Elder Dragon execution comes down. And that's 3 members down for Theory of Everything. Elysium on the Nexus towers here. It's only Odysseus and Daigen left. The Nexus towers are falling. One is down. The second one is soon after here. As the flash forward, A-Hop finds Odysseus as well. A-Hop is an animal on this Blitzcrank, and they're going to fight They're going to take down the Nexus and take the series in 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, it's all over. That first game, such a long banger of a game, and this second one almost matches it in the opposite way, I guess, as Elysium really from start to finish was so far ahead of Theory of Everything, and they just take care of business here. They continue to show that they are a team that is above, firmly above sort of that lower tier of CCS, of teams in this CCS. Yeah, I mean, just very, very, very clean game. I mean, we could see how, uh, I guess what we were saying was with the substitute mid laner coming in for the first game for Elysium, we noticed how it felt like they looked really good. Well, they looked even better with their starting mid laner in the second match or game, rather. Not sure how much of a difference that ultimately ended up making, but from our side, you definitely looked like a much cleaner game in game number 2 for Elysium.
Yeah, and if you look at just the the box score, you could like in game 1, the sub mid laner had a better score off the board. Was put in more of that carry position. In game number 2, Chaser and Duddy kind of took over. So
Yeah.
Naysayer was able to just deal damage, didn't have to worry about carrying, the game because you have the Omega Fed, Smolder, and Wukong on your team. So hey, you know what? We take those. That's totally cool. All right, we are going to throw it to a quick break, but we will be back with one of the players of the winning team, Elysium, in just about a minute or two. So don't go anywhere because you don't want to miss it. Alrighty, and we are back with Duddy, the jungler from Elysian. Duddy, congratulations on the win.
Yo, thank you. Thank you guys for having me. Dude, you guys have my profile picture, Hello Kitty. That's actually so cute. W Production CCS.
I mean, we definitely stand Hello Kitty here on the CCS stream for sure. So happy to represent there. So, congratulations on the win. We've got the jungler here from Elysium. So my first question, you had a substitute mid laner in game number 1. How much did that affect the game for you all, both as far as, your coordination, communication? Have you played with a substitute mid laner in the past in scrims or otherwise?
Yeah, Naysayer's been gone for a bit. He hasn't been able to play much, so we have been playing with Kiba quite a bit. Maybe at this point, even a little bit more than Naysayer. But Naysayer was able to play game 2, so we wanted to bring him in when we could. But I played with Kiba a ton over the years, like on and off for quite a long time. So I'd say it's pretty comfortable.
Awesome. I mean, definitely looked like that. So that first game rather, like a 45-minute banger. Just curious, as this kind of game goes on, communication with your team is obviously super important. Do you have certain players on your team that tend to do more of the communication or shot calling? Is it a shared responsibility, or how do you kind of handle that on your team?
I'd say A-Hop does a lot of it. I'm actually not sure how much I talk. I feel like I talk a lot, but maybe my team would say otherwise. But I think it's me and A-Hop, like in that game mostly. I mean, honestly, Viva and Kiba have talk a lot too. But Naysayer, I would say, is usually our most vocal member, but with him being gone, it's probably me and Aha.
Cool. Other things that I want to ask about here. So, I mean, your team now, you go to 3-1. We were talking about on the stream that, obviously you've won a couple of your matches so far. Is there a team that you've got your eye on later in the CCS that you're really expected to face? Anybody kind of dreading to go against?
Anyone that I'm dreading to go against? Not really. I mean, I'd like to play. We lost to Maddie and Sutek's team. I'd like a chance to play them again in playoffs. I mean, this match, PPP messaged me like they won last week. He's feeling all big in his britches. He wants to bet. He says they're going to smash me. So we bet a skin. But of course, they lost. Proton Plant player owes me a skin. Who else? I mean, I want to play against Queen Styx because she always says she's better than me. It's probably true, but hopefully we can have a chance to win.
Yeah. All right. All right. So I don't want to keep you for too long here. So my last question here is, you've got a life-changing platform right now. Is there anybody that you want to shout out? Anything else that anyone wanted to say to your dedicated fans here at the CCS?
Life-changing platform. Anything I want to say to my dedicated fans? Honestly, Chaser is the best ADC in the whole tournament. It's not close. When we're playing the games, he doesn't give us any useful information. All he does is he says, I'm so good. My wave is going to do this. I know what's going to happen. I know he's just constantly talking about how good he is. So I just want to spread the good gospel of Chaser because he is God's gift to Diamond 4, Diamond 3 cap. He did move up to Masters 100 and has been getting clapped. But thankfully, he's back here in his comfort zone. And he is just like a lion on a rampage.
Whoa. All right.
Love
Shout
it.
out Chaser.
Thank you.
All right. That's going to do it for us today here on the CCS2. Elysium taking the series 2-0 over Theory of Everything. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and we will be back next week for some Week 5 action. I've been Rychan, joined by Elsa the Queen, and shout out our great production for this game and this stream today. I hope you guys have a good one, and we will be back next week. Have a good week.